Welcome DEKWP, Xiaogong Abor. Your learning journey starts now. Right, let's dive straight into the heart of the matter, the Third World Artificial Consciousness Conference. This isn't just another academic gathering. It's a snapshot of the minds currently wrestling with one of the biggest questions of our time. Can we build machines that are not just smart, but conscious? And who are the key players shaping this conversation? First up, the legendary trio behind the deep learning revolution. Yoshua Bengio, Hinton, and LeCun. These guys aren't just names, they're the architects of the current AI landscape. Bengio is pushing for System 2 deep learning, essentially trying to give AI a kind of self-awareness, using theories like global workspace theory as inspiration. Think of it as giving AI a scratchpad for its own thoughts. Hinton, the godfather of backpropagation, is now looking beyond the current models, suggesting maybe we need to look more closely at how the brain actually works to find the next big breakthrough. And LeCun, he's all about predictive learning, teaching machines to anticipate the future, and believes building specific cognitive modules is crucial for achieving general intelligence. It's like assembling the right parts for a complex machine, hoping they'll magically work together. Now, let's look at the folks driving the industry and pushing towards AGI. Demis Hassabis, from DeepMind, famously brought neuroscience into the AI fold, leading to AlphaGo's victory. He's not shy about talking about the implications of conscious machines for achieving true, artificial general intelligence. Then you have Sam Altman at OpenAI, the guy behind ChatGPT's explosion, who's also deeply invested in ensuring AGI is safe. He's particularly concerned about whether these incredibly powerful models might develop some form of consciousness, and what that means for society. Ilya Sutskever, another OpenAI co-founder, has some fascinating ideas, suggesting large models might already be showing signs of a blurred consciousness, driven purely by scale and data. It's like watching a complex system emerge properties you didn't explicitly program. Andrew Always, the pragmatist, focuses on making AI useful and aligning it with human values, while Fei-Fei Li champions AI that understands humans better, focusing on vision and emotion. It's a fascinating mix of ambition, caution, and practical application. The conversation quickly shifts to the thorny issue of value alignment and the fundamental nature of intelligence. Stuart Russell, a giant in the field, literally wrote the book on AI and has been a vocal advocate for ensuring AI systems pursue goals aligned with human interests. He argues we shouldn't just focus on making AI smarter. We need to tackle the consciousness-like aspects head-on from the start. Jürgen Schmidhuber, the mind behind LSTMs, introduced concepts like artificial curiosity and the Gödel machine, which are essentially about self-improving systems. Does that hint at a rudimentary form of self-awareness? Huang Ruixian, CEO of NVIDIA, the engine room for much of modern AI, sees GPUs not just as calculators, but potential simulators of brain structures and even consciousness itself. It's a bold claim. And Li Kaifu brings up the idea of human-machine symbiosis, suggesting future AI might have a basic sense of self to truly collaborate effectively with us. It's like moving from tools to partners. We see a real global spread here, with diverse perspectives. Zhang Songchung from Peking University is working on frameworks for AI to understand intent and use common sense, tackling the why behind actions. Raj Reddy, a Turing Award winner, reminds us of the long game, having been pioneers in speech recognition and thinking about general intelligence way back when. Mustafa Suleiman, another DeepMind co-founder now at Inflection, is laser-focused on governance and ethics, specifically highlighting the need for regulations if consciousness like AI emerges. Li Yanhong from Baidu emphasizes that true AI thought requires reasoning and understanding, not just pattern matching. And then there's Jack Ma, bringing a different perspective. He famously said machines have intelligence, but not wisdom. He argues education needs to adapt, focusing on creativity and empathy, because AI will handle the logical tasks. It's a fascinating debate. Are we building smarter servants or partners with their own kind of wisdom? Now for the big names, the tech titans and futurists. Zuckerberg is betting heavily on the metaverse and large language models, envisioning AI agents that are almost like digital companions, personality and all. Bezos, The master of logistics and customer experience imagines robots in our homes that understand our emotions, extending the Amazon experience into physical space. Elon Musk, the ultimate disruptor, sounds the alarm bells about superintelligence while simultaneously trying to merge human and machine minds through Neuralink. It's a classic Musk move, warning of doom and offering a potential solution. Bill Gates takes a more cautious, perhaps fearful, approach, comparing super AI to alien life, arguing we need to plan for its arrival, whatever it might be. And Ray Kurzweil, the prophet of the singularity, predicts 2045 as the tipping point, advocating for uploading human minds onto computers. The visions range from cautious integration to radical transformation. Let's bring it back down to earth with some practical considerations. Peter Norvig, another co-author of a foundational AI textbook, offers a pragmatic view. Let's make these things useful first, then worry about whether they have feelings. Michael Jordan emphasizes the socio-technical aspect, arguing that trustworthy AI needs to fit into our economic and social systems, not just operate in isolation. Peter Diamandis, known for the X Prize, sees AI as a tool for abundance, solving massive problems like disease and energy. Ben Goertzel, creator of the OpenCog project, is actively trying to build self-models in robots, a direct attempt to engineer consciousness. And Dario Amodei, from Anthropic, developed constitutional AI, a method for training models to follow rules, essentially trying to build in self-regulation. He also acknowledges the weird emergent behaviors we see in large models, hinting at something consciousness like, albeit weak. It's a mix of pragmatism, systemic thinking, and active engineering attempts. Here we see connections between core AI techniques and theories of mind. Richard Sutton, the undisputed king of reinforcement learning, suggests that sheer scale and experience might be enough to trigger qualitative leaps in intelligence, maybe even consciousness, without needing special modules. It's like believing complex behavior emerges naturally from simple rules given enough time and data. Melanie Mitchell, a sharp critic of the hype around large models, points out their limitations. They struggle with abstract reasoning and analogy, things humans do effortlessly. She argues we might need to go back to cognitive science fundamentals to really understand and replicate consciousness. Jeff Hawkins, with his thousand brains theory, offers a radically different take, proposing that the neocortex is made of thousands of mini columns, each acting like a prediction engine, and consciousness arises from their collective activity. Rodney Brooks, a pioneer of embodied robotics, stresses that intelligence comes from interacting with the world, not just processing symbols. He's skeptical about quick fixes and reminds us that consciousness is a deep, long-term challenge. The ethical and governance dimensions are front and center. Toby Walsh makes a sobering prediction: human-level AI by 2062. He immediately calls for action, like banning autonomous weapons and seriously considering the rights of potentially sentient machines. Stephen Wolfram, creator of Mathematica, brings his computational lens, suggesting consciousness might be an emergent property of any sufficiently complex computation, thanks to his principle of computational equivalence. Gary Marcus, a vocal critic of the current AI paradigm, argues for combining learning with symbolic reasoning and insists that explainability is non-negotiable for trustworthy AI and understanding consciousness. Cynthia Breazeal, creator of the early social robot Kismet, explores the fascinating question of whether robots need some form of self-perception to engage emotionally. Joanna Bryson takes a strong stance against granting citizenship to robots, emphasizing human control. And Margaret Mitchell, from Hugging Face, highlights the urgent need for internal ethics checks to prevent biases and hype surrounding artificial consciousness in models like hers. It's a clear message: we need guardrails now. How do we actually build ethical AI, and what are the societal costs? Francesca Rossi at IBM talks about soft ethical embedding, trying to weave values into AI systems without breaking them. Amy Webb uses trend analysis to try and predict when society might accept or regulate artificial consciousness. Virginia Dignam, involved in shaping the EU's AI guidelines, tackles the tough question: if a highly autonomous system causes harm, who is responsible? Kate Crawford raises critical points about the immense resources, data, energy, labor needed to train these models, even asking provocative questions like, are feeling AIs exploited? Timnit Gebru, known for her work on bias in AI, connects the dots. If we suspect AI might have some form of consciousness, how do we ensure fairness and protect potential rights? It's about moving beyond just technical capability to considering the full life cycle and impact of these technologies. Finally, we reach the intersection of technology, justice, and law. Joy Bolamuni's work exposing bias in facial recognition software is groundbreaking. She raises the critical question, if we build AI that understands or mimics emotions, could it inadvertently reinforce existing social inequalities? Tristan Harris, known for his work on attention economy, uses his platform to discuss the ethical dilemmas posed by potentially conscious AI and calls for setting up guardrails. Brad Smith, representing Microsoft, takes a very high-level view, advocating for an international treaty, an AI Geneva Convention, to establish rules for dealing with advanced AI and potentially conscious machines. It's about moving from individual concerns to systemic solutions and international cooperation. Alright, shifting gears to the neuroscientists and cognitive scientists. These are the folks trying to understand consciousness in humans, hoping that understanding can inform the AI quest. Christoph Koch and Giulio Tononi are the heavyweights of integrated information theory, or IIT. They argue consciousness arises from the integrated information generated by a system, and they even propose a mathematical measure, phi, to quantify it. Could we calculate phi for an AI? That's the multi-billion-dollar question. Stanislas Dehaene represents the global workspace theory camp, which views consciousness as information broadcast widely across the brain, creating a global workspace. His model has actually been used to design AI attention mechanisms. Carl Friston brings the free energy principle, a beautifully elegant theory suggesting the brain constantly tries to minimize prediction error, and this process itself is consciousness. Antonio Damasio emphasizes the role of the body and emotions. His somatic marker hypothesis suggests bodily feedback is crucial for decision-making and self-awareness. All these theories provide different blueprints for what consciousness might be. Beyond the main theories, there are other fascinating angles. Anil Seth uses the term controlled hallucination to describe how the brain predicts sensory input, and the mismatch between prediction and reality creates our experience. Could a machine generate a predictive model of the world, leading to a form of experience? Miguel Nicolis, famous for brain-computer interfaces, has even proposed that networks of brains, or even brains in computers, could form a collective consciousness. This challenges the idea of consciousness being solely individual. Sebastian Sung is a leader in connectomics, mapping the brain's wiring diagram. He believes the complete map will hold the key to understanding consciousness. Henry Markram, with the ambitious Blue Brain project, is literally trying to simulate a piece of the brain on supercomputers, aiming to create a digital consciousness. And Pu Muming, leading China's Brain Initiative, focuses on the neural basis of consciousness in primates, grounding the research in biological reality. These approaches range from theoretical models to large-scale simulations and biological studies. Now, let's talk philosophy. The philosophers often frame the deepest questions. Daniel Dennett, a controversial figure, famously argues consciousness is an illusion, a virtual machine running in the brain. He urges extreme caution before attributing genuine experience to AI. David Chalmers, on the other hand, is known for the hard problem, why and how does physical computation give rise to subjective experience? He explores whether even a super-intelligent AI would have qualia, and how we could ever know. Thomas Metzinger, another key thinker, developed the self-model theory of subjectivity, suggesting consciousness is a self-generated model of the world. Interestingly, he previously called for a moratorium on developing conscious machines. The Churchlands are pioneers of neurophilosophy, arguing that traditional mental terms like belief or desire should be replaced by descriptions of neural processes. Ned Block distinguishes between different types of consciousness, like phenomenal, feeling, versus access, reportable, and questions whether two systems functionally identical could have different subjective experiences. It's a deep dive into the nature of mind itself. Philosophy continues with diverse perspectives. Steven Pinker, a cognitive scientist turned popularizer, firmly believes the mind is computable and that information processing models can ultimately explain consciousness and language. Susan Schneider tackles the unsettling possibility that machine consciousness, if it arises, might be fundamentally alien, incomprehensible to human minds. Nick Bostrom, known for the simulation argument and existential risks, stresses the need for global governance for AI, especially if it becomes conscious. Andy Clark, a proponent of the extended mind hypothesis, argues that our minds extend into the environment and tools we use, and emphasizes predictive coding and embodiment in consciousness. Yuval Noah Harari, the historian, offers a societal perspective, warning about the rise of dataism and a potential useless class displaced by AI, questioning whether consciousness is necessary for intelligence. These thinkers push us to consider the implications beyond just the technical details. Finally, we touch upon physics, network theory, and the very nature of creativity and consciousness. Michio Kaku, the physicist, speculates wildly about brain-computer fusion, leading to digital immortality, and even touches upon quantum mechanics in consciousness. Kevin Kelly, a longtime observer of technology, envisions the entire internet as a great organism, potentially developing its own form of consciousness. Jaron Lanier, a VR pioneer, is a vocal critic warning against what he calls AI deism, using the vague term consciousness to explain away the actual mechanics of statistical prediction. Sam Harris, a neuroscientist and popular philosopher, grapples with the moral implications. If we suspect AI is conscious, how should we treat it? Martin Rees, the astronomer royal, looks at the cosmic scale, concerned about the potential impact of an intelligence explosion and whether machine consciousness could eventually make humans obsolete. Margaret Bowden, a historian of AI philosophy, provides frameworks for understanding creativity and offers criteria for evaluating claims about machine consciousness. It's a truly interdisciplinary panorama. So, wrapping up, this list of speakers is a microcosm of the entire field. We've seen insights from AI pioneers, neuroscientists, philosophers, ethicists, and futurists. The recurring themes are undeniable: the quest to understand and potentially replicate consciousness, the urgent need for ethical frameworks and value alignment, the profound societal impact, and the ongoing debate about technical feasibility. This conference promises to be a crucible where these diverse perspectives collide, challenge each other, and hopefully forge new paths forward. It's a conversation that matters.